All right, so just 2 days ago, I made my way up to the Merced River Canyon again. We explored a little bit from Briceburg all the way to El Portal, near the western entrance to the park. If you've been following the news here in California, we've been getting hit with a huge amount of rainfall and record snowpack. And anyway, I wanted to see, we're not quite into what they're calling the big thaw. Hasn't quite warmed up to that point yet, but it is starting to thaw and we're getting some runoff. And so I was definitely curious just how much water was coming down the river at this point. And so my unscientific evaluation here would tell me that this water level here has dropped considerably. In fact, if you look off over here, you can see some land that was definitely underwater. In fact, those the signs you see here were barely poking out of water back then. So the runoff downstream of Lake McClure is definitely considerably less than it once was, again, about 2 months ago. All right, so I just wanted to document this, what we're seeing here now, what we saw 2 days ago up near Yosemite. And by the way, I'm going to plug that. I did some video while I was up there. I'll put that in as well. So, of course, now that means I've obligated myself to a follow-up or subsequent video. And I'll do that probably in June during the big melt or the big thaw. And we'll see what we're working with then. At that point, I'm actually going to go into the park. Definitely want to see the waterfalls and the river there. And that's assuming, of course, that it's not flooded. But we'll have a look at that, and then I want to come back down here and we'll see how much water we're getting through the valley here once they do the release, making room for all of that snowpack. It's going to be a good show. This is a four-wheel drive club. This is their cool little area right here. But those tables there were basically entirely underwater just a few months ago. And by the way, earlier I mentioned that we were on that river road approach to the Merced River, and that we knew that road had been around for at least 100 years. And check this out. Merced River Bridge, 1910, near Hatfield State Park. Now this bridge, if I remember right, I think it was put out of service early 70s, 1972 maybe? I can't remember exactly, somewhere in there, when this new bridge was built just alongside it. And this was actually scheduled for demolition at one time, but the petition was put together by the locals, and it's still with us here today. And by the way, I know in one of my earlier videos I actually showed you the Schaefer Bridge on the Merced River, which was built in 1910. That's probably at least 10 miles upstream from where we're at now. So good to see them keeping some of the old history still with us to this day. Yep, this is pretty cool. This is amazing. And by the way, the birds seem to love the new bridge. They are active today. And this old road is surprisingly busy. A lot of activity out here. So anyway, let's get out of here so I can, again, I'll plug in the video I got from a couple days ago, and we'll kind of see where we're at. Document this moment for posterity, you might say. By the way, I think it's the last day of April, so just of 2023. So we will, again, revisit this in about a month and see where we're at, not just here, but also up along the river, Briceburg to El Portal, and into the park. So with that said, let's get started. So check it out, when I left the house this morning, it wasn't raining. On the way here, it was raining like crazy. So I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty annoyed at the weather gods. But then I get here, we get a little break in the rain, and long enough to shoot some video, get some photos, started raining again. And just now, we got about maybe a 45-minute break, and I was able to get Louie up in the air. So I think we have some great video of this area. So I'm very happy to be able to share that with you now. So check this out. All right, right in the center of your screen, look at that house. That's an old abandoned house up on the side of that hill. Right here in the Merced River Canyon, just a few miles west of Yosemite National Park. We are on the old Yosemite Valley roadbed. Yosemite Valley Railroad roadbed, I should say. but we're not here for railroad videos. I'm gonna take a break from this for a moment. All right, I did a little reconnaissance. I'm actually up here on Merced Road, and we are going to head back down to Briceburg, and then we're gonna work our way back this way. I'm trying to find some good photos. I wanna do some time-lapse photography if the situation allows, although it's a little bit, the skies are a little clear for that, and water doesn't do so well. Moving water doesn't move so well with time-lapse, but we'll see what we can work out. And yeah, just get some photos here. The waterway, I'll get into this a little more later, but the waters, as you can see behind me, it's rocking and rolling. So yeah, my last two attempts at doing the video didn't work out. It seems like Mother Nature has wreaked havoc with a lot of roadways. So anyway, we're gonna come up here, and the river's flowing, and about what I'm reading, about 240% of normal right now. And we're not even at peak right now from what it does later in the evening. But I'm just gonna play around with the camera, see if we can get some photos, do a little preliminary work here, and plan a return visit back. So anyway, so just to show what a difference in the season makes, you see that right there in the center of your frame or your screen, that actually is concrete, leftovers of the old Incline Railroad that, or perhaps even the Yosemite Valley Railroad that used to operate in this area. You could have walked out to that when I was up here doing one of my earlier Yosemite Valley Railroad videos, but not now, man. That water is surrounding it. Wow. So here is something I want to show you. You see where the water's at now? It's the level now is probably about the lowest it's going to be for the day. Now it's going to start coming back up. But you see right down here in front of us, see where this log is and the brush is right there? That looks like that's where it's peaking, and at this point, it looks like it's at least, I would say, 3, maybe even 4 feet higher. So that's what you're seeing at about 2 a.m. And again, that has me real curious what's going to be going on here in June and July. But anyway, I better get down to Briceburg if we're going to get started. It looks like a carryover from the Incline Railroad days. In fact, I think that was actually part of a structure because there's actually a wall behind it. Hopefully you can see it back there. So here's what I read this morning before I came up. So our snowpack up in Yosemite National Park for the Merced River, which what we're looking at right now, is about 240% of normal, and that's for the Merced River. Tuolumne River, a little farther north of us, is about 245%. So we're looking at a lot of snowpack, and apparently it's a good day for rafting. And I haven't figured out yet if I've been watching these guys. I don't know if they're launching or if they finished up the trip. I think they finished up because I know I've seen rafts upstream from this point here. So I think they're finishing up their day. Alright, so we are here just below the west gate of Yosemite, and I had to back away from the river. It's roaring down there. That's my camera down there set up right now. I should have brought my sturdier tripod, but I think that's going to work for us. Right now I'm trying to get a little time lapse of this cloud movement up here. I think it's going to be all right. And then earlier I did some photos, I'll put them in the video, of some 3-second exposures, 1-second exposures. Really kind of turn this water milky here, which it pretty much is even in real time. So I'll put those up and show you those as well, but it is rocking and rolling down here, people. This water's coming down, and what's interesting is this water flow. It's about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the water flow peaks about 2:30 a.m. just after midnight, and about between 4 and 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon is when it's at its lowest level. So and again, that's going off the charts I was looking at this morning. So the water level's still dropping a little bit, and it's still rocking and rolling. And what I saw coming down here, or I should say coming up here, is that water level. It was at least 2 feet, maybe even higher than what we're seeing right now. So this is moving. Here's what I want to show you. As high as this is, and again, we're just west of the west gate into the park. You see that hotel along the river right in the middle of your screen there. In 1997, this river was so high it actually flooded that hotel. That kind of puts this in perspective. Now, again, add another 2 or 3 feet to what you currently see on the water level, and that's what this would look like at 2 a.m. in the morning. But even then, it's not anywhere near flooding that hotel. So, just to put it in perspective. Now, what's going to happen later in the spring, in June and July, when it gets even warmer? Only time will tell. All right, let's head back down the river and see what else we can find. Probably not anything this close, but there was a spot down here I want to look at. Okay, so we moved just downstream from where we were. In fact, the hotel lobbies, the hotel I pointed out earlier is behind us. But what I wanted to see here, I like this rock right in front of us here. Look how the water just kind of comes cascading over the top of that. That is pretty cool. I'm going to see if I can get a photo of that, a still photo of that. But this is spectacular. And here's the hotel I was showing you earlier, the earlier clip. Look at that, huh? That's nice, having a room right there. And again, that's, let me get a different angle here so I can show you just how deep that water was in 97. Well, not a great deal different, but you can see there, look how high that water would have had to have been to flood this thing. And again, we're add 2 or 3 feet to what we see right now. That's what it is, 2 a.m. in the morning. But it still wouldn't be flooding like it was in 97, at least not yet. Great view. You probably have to keep your windows and sliders closed at night for the water, unless with the roar of the water, unless of course that kind of thing helps you sleep. But it is pretty noisy around here. Wow, what a view though. Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to coming back in early or late spring. It's not as crowded up here as I thought it might be. I guess people are waiting for maybe for spring. The park is on a, it's not closed, but it is on a limited access, they're calling it. So again, we'll wait until June or July, but it's still kind of quiet up here, other than the water. And by the way, I'm not making a plug here, but this is somewhere you might want to spend the evening or a few days. Here it is, Yosemite View Lodge. All right, am I in the frame? There we go. How's that? Oh well, something like that. There it is. Okay, now that I'm back here, it's bothering me. I have to go get a long exposure photo of that. I admit it, I'm a sucker for the milk looking water, so anyway, I'm going back in. I'll be right back. You know, I guess photographers are kind of a, some of them anyway, kind of a nerdy, stuffy lot, so what the heck, right? Take my photos. Don't judge. All right, we stopped here in El Portal. I wanted to show you that. Yosemite has a lot of what they call ephemeral falls, meaning they're momentary or temporary or short-lasting, and that's one right there. That's why I want to get back up here and see the valley. Look at that. All right, I have to admit I'm feeling a little bit messy here, or at least maybe a little lazy. I was down here before for one of my Yosemite Valley Railroad videos, but I guess it's different intentions this time, so maybe that doesn't count. But there were some really good views of the river here, if I remember correctly. So I'm gonna go revisit this real quick. Okay, here's that view I remember. Even more spectacular now with all this water. Look at this. Wow. Just wow. That's amazing. You got a guy camping or boondocking over here, man. I don't blame him. Right in the center of your frame, look at that. That's the spot right there, man. Now you're looking back towards Yosemite National Park. Whew, this is amazing. And it's just going to get a little more feisty. Can't wait for June. Okay, so now I'm really undecided. I did some, each angle, one looking this way, one looking down this way. One was, I believe, a 3-second exposure. The other, I think, was 6. I don't know. I'll put them both up on the screen. You decide. I can't decide which one I like better. I like them both. But what a spot, huh? What a spot. You know, if you're going to get your jog on, or in my case, bicycle on, this is the path, man. The old Yosemite Valley Railroad right-of-way right here. How cool is it that they repaved this? Okay, y'all. I think I'm going to call it a wrap. It's a short video. I just wanted to get out and do some exploring. Like I was saying, after trying to do those the other videos for Hydra and Tulare Lake, both those coming up a bust, I wanted to get out. I thought, why not come up here? We'll call this a preliminary survey or reconnaissance mission for up in Yosemite. I'll be bringing Kelly back up here like I mentioned before, probably in 2, 3, 4 weeks, and we'll have a closer look. So thanks for tagging along, and we'll see you then.